Hello, end of April 2025. Still here, still on Mother Earth, watching the planets as they appear to travel around us, reflecting back what's going on Mother Earth. I have here today Canada's birth chart and Mark Carney's birth chart, the Prime Minister of Canada. We see a very unusual chart when we look at Mark Carney's birth chart, in that he was born in the very far north. He was born in the high northern latitudes. Therefore, we see his planets compressed into two specific focused areas in the birth chart, which means we have a very focused individual. We have someone who is preoccupied with sixth house things, the work, with 12th house things, service to others, hidden away, secluded places behind the scenes power. Again, service to others, the sixth house, and work. This is the chart potentially of a workaholic, someone preoccupied with the job and working and being of service and fixing what is not correct. This is the whole Virgo instinct. And all of these planets, including the moon, are in Virgo, though the sun is in Pisces, a very service-oriented sign, a very sensitive sign. Now, all of these birth planets are favorably angling the midheaven in this chart, the point of public reputation and community reputation and professional reputation, the point that refers to the interaction with others in the world professionally. And many of his birth planets interact very well with the country's planets. We see Saturn at 9 degrees of Pisces. We see the Sun in Canada's chart at 8 degrees of Cancer. That is a perfect trine. Saturn trines the Sun and Saturn trines Uranus in the chart comparison between this man and the country. So whether it is a minority government or a majority government, I do believe this man will be involved with governing and leading and rebuilding this country as the Prime Minister. Something going on in Canada's chart that's very interesting. Pluto, the planet of power and control, of groups of people who work together for common cause when it's in the 11th house like this. Pluto just moved into the 11th house for Canada. It also just moved into the 11th house for Mark Carney this year. Involvement and interaction with people who are powerful. And in Canada's chart, Pluto started opposing Mercury, being 180 degrees opposite Mercury as of February. And it has been slowly getting closer and closer, building in this opposition to Mercury in Canada's chart. Interaction more and more with people who are bullying in nature. Groups of people working for common cause that are definitely different than as they have been before. Death and rebirth taking place in these groups. But the Pluto opposite the Mercury is an ego class. It's a power control issue. Power and control being exerted towards the ideas, the agreements, the perspective of this country. What's notable is after the election, within 3 days, Pluto slowly starts to move backwards. It turns retrograde. It's going to pull back before it reaches full maximum peak. So assuming that this represents this pushing and bullying from Donald Trump towards Canada, the fact that it's not going to reach full strength, it's been building and building since February, but it seems to start backing slowly away in early May, right after the election. It will slowly back to the point of 0 degrees and then turn again in the winter coming 25, 26, go forward slowly again. Only next year in 2026, Pluto will not back off. It will form an opposition to Mercury in Canada's chart that slowly full blast comes to completion. And the force of the energy will complete in March, April. April of next year, the US of A has powerfully difficult transits in their birth chart. Canada likewise has very difficult transits in the chart coming next March, April. Saturn's going to square the Sun for both countries next year. So whatever the USA is involved with, this struggle with Canada will pick up and resume again next year, one would assume, or there will be another difference of opinion. Living next door to Canada, I have clear memory of what it was like living here during Vietnam War. When you live next door to a huge country that now and then acts like a bully towards another part of the world, it spills over onto Canada, as it did in the 1970s with the Vietnam War. So in 2026, the USA could be involved in just about anything with any country by the looks of the direction they are going. But in Canada's chart, Pluto resumes this opposition again next year with Mercury, and there is a disagreement, a powerful disagreement, and it will come to completion next spring. But this spring, it backs off. And these positive transits from Jupiter to Mark Carney's birth planets all summer, April, not so much April, we're looking at July, August, September. These positive transits come into effect. Equally in Canada's chart, Jupiter is forming favorable, growth-oriented, positive transits during the same months, the summer months, and in the early part of 2026. There's always optimism in parts of the transits, even during the challenging years. And perspective is everything. This man has a very practical, sensible, efficient perspective. And Canada is enduring. Canada is forever. Pluto in the first house. Canada's power is in who they are. That will continue. Take care.